Hello, friends. Happy Monday. Even better. So let me invite my friend Chris here. Welcome, everybody. Say hello. I would love to hear or see where you guys are joining from if you want to comment. Um, yeah, people joining. Okay, hey
Hello.
Chris, that was smooth. I love when technical stuff is smooth. Oh my God. Yeah,
Yes.
so good. Well, happy Monday. I know you just got back from traveling, so that adjustment period is no joke. So
Yeah. Yeah. It was a
Hawaii.
great trip, but yeah, reentry is always hard,
I
especially
know.
when you go
That's what
somewhere
I said
warm.
when we just returned from Hawaii too. It's like, whoa, it's like, man. So, well, good. Okay, you guys, I am so excited because you are going to be in for a treat as Chris and I chat. So, let me tell you a little bit about who Chris is, why this is a live that you're going to want to stay on, and be sure that you stay till the end because there's going to be a special little goodie for you at the end. But so, Chris, I ran across your account a couple years back, and she's a midlife health coach. So, does it mean you only can pay attention if you're midlife? No, 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 no. So, she loves to help midlife women gain energy, burn fat, build muscle. That's where I'm at right now. I'm really focused on that and age healthfully. And you know what? We all want that. So, don't don't say, "Oh, I'm leaving this live just because you may be in your early 40s." This is going to be for you too. So, welcome, Chris. I'm so glad you are here.
Thank you. Actually, I consider midlife 40s, 50s, and 60s, and even age 35 on because that's really the time that perimenopausal can start. And so a lot of women are unaware that wow, in my 30s, can you be perimenopause? And yes. And so that is the time when your hormones are changing. They're declining. I call perimenopause like reverse puberty. So it's like the opposite of your hormones inclining, they're like declining. And with that comes all kinds of issues and symptoms and and things that affect your metabolism. And that's why I consider that age range the range that I support women because we do need a different strategy when it comes to building muscle, burning fat, having more energy. The things that we did in our 20s and 30s no longer
Right.
work. Like,
That is so true. And I hear it, in my audience. And, I've kind of worked in holistic health for over 10 years too. And it's a serious issue. Things that worked in our 30s do not work as we get older, and it gets a little bit frustrating. And so if you're in that season and are curious, like, what are my options? What can I do so that I can have more energy, and be in a healthful state? We are going to talk about that. So I would love to know, what do you find are the common struggles for women in midlife? I know for me, but before I spill the beans
yeah.
for myself, I would love to hear from you. And maybe it'll make me just feel better that I'm normal, but
Yes, you definitely are. So all the time in my DMs, I have women who are like, all of a sudden I've gained 10 to 20 pounds. I didn't change anything, and it's all right here in my midsection. It's in the form of belly fat. And they're like, I didn't change anything. I don't know what happened, what's going on. And so I do a lot of educating of like why this happens. And the reason that there's so many reasons that contribute to that belly fat is one of the reasons is estrogen is a hormone that declines in perimenopause and just flat lines out in menopause. It gives us this hourglass shape, and when we don't have it, your body's like, hey, let's distribute this fat in the belly area. And estrogen is a very protective hormone, and it's tightly related to cortisol. So you know there's things that that didn't bug us before, but now we can't really tolerate anymore. And, we feel a little bit more stressed and anxious about some things now that we're older. And that has to do with estrogen. So I always tell this to the ladies that are still cycling, like, don't wish away your period because it is, I didn't know how great I had it when I had the protection of all these hormones because, you're in a good place. So you're symptoms won't go away because your period went away.
They
You know,
just change, right?
they
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 just
change. Yeah.
change. Yeah. I know. I was really, I mean, I kind of went out of cycling probably 6 years ago, but now, I mean, they're like, no, keep your cycle as long as you
Mhm.
can. That is
Mhm.
a level of longevity that they're saying. So, yeah,
Yeah.
don't wish it away for sure. So, I know for me, when I did okay until around, I would say probably like 52. And
Mhm.
then I would kind of pack on. I'm a lower body packer. Is that even a
Yeah.
word? But that's where I carry a lot of my extra weight. But I do have that little muffin top thing as well. But I think energy and focus, the brain fog, I had no idea. And I've recovered from an autoimmune issue. I had depression for many years of my life. So I wasn't unfamiliar with those symptoms, but it was not anything like what I experienced in pre-menopause and menopause and now in post. But it's intense. And so I would be curious, how do you think food relates to all of those, right? The energy and the brain fog and all of that.
I mean, food has a big potential to affect your energy. And the way that I help my clients like help optimize their energy is several things. We focus on whole food nutrition because that's what we were made to
Yes.
eat. We balance out their carbs. So you don't, in this stage of life, we don't want too many carbs because our blood sugar can get wonky. But we want some because we need to have like the diversity of fruits and vegetables that our gut loves. And so we have this, Goldilocks range where we want our carbohydrates. And so it is going to be like balancing your blood sugar. And what that looks like is when you get a plate, you want to make sure you're going to have some protein on that plate. Every plate, quarter of the plate, make a protein. I always say half the plate veggies, and then like another quarter, like some starchy vegetable, like some potatoes or rice or things like that. So having a balanced plate and having meals throughout the day is going to be optimal. And this is what I teach. I teach how to balance your blood sugar with food. And I will tell you, the ladies that do this, they have more energy. That 3 p.m. slump goes away. They don't have to rely on willpower. I used to think that I would be like a sugaraholic. I was just born that way. Like after dinner, I would always have something sugary and sweet. And I thought, that's just the way I am. I mean, I've just always had a sweet tooth. But once I learned how to balance my blood sugar with the things that I'm putting on my plate with the right timing, I hardly ever crave sweets anymore. So women are excited because they're like, I don't have to use willpower. Because guess what? Willpower does not last.
Mhm.
Like you eventually cave in. And so learning how to eat is going to really affect cravings, the blood sugar swings. You're going to have sustained energy all day long. And guess what happens at night too when you balance your blood sugar during the day? You sleep better. So these ladies are sleeping more soundly, less nighttime wake ups. And that's huge,
Right.
especially that's one of the major symptoms of that. That was one of the first symptoms that I had in
Yeah.
perimenopause was I couldn't sleep. And I could sleep anytime. I was a great sleeper. All of a sudden I'm like, what the heck? And if you're not sleeping,
Mhm.
you know, that's foundational. Like
Exactly.
in functional nutrition school, I still remember that was 10 years ago. My teacher was like, if they're not sleeping, having a bowel movement every day and balancing their blood sugar, it doesn't matter what diagnosis the doctor has given
Yeah.
them. These are foundational things that, we really want to get our clients to do. So anything that we could do, and people are amazed at how much food can affect their sleep.
Right. Yeah. Well, so I love what you mentioned because I have worked with Chris before. That's why I know what she offers and how amazing it is. And so, but one of the things that is part of the program that she offers is this carb cycling, which I wanted to touch on because I think carbs have such a
Mm.
negative connotation now when you're talking about your weight. Everybody wants to either they're sourdough junkies or they're like, no carbs. But something that you said is so important. Our body needs carbs. It's our choice of carbs, right? That is truly important. And I loved the last time I was in the program, I forget how amazing sweet potatoes are. And they
Oh,
are so good for us, right? Like I
yes.
forget. So
Yes.
so I had sweet potatoes yesterday.
Oh, I love it. And we like I remember I went keto one time because I'm like, let me just, when it was popular, and I was so restricted with what I could eat. Like food was like fruit was forbidden. I was like, this is not sustainable. So we don't want to like leave out any food groups. Like we really, every food group has its, like every macronutrient has its value, and carbohydrates is our preferred source of energy. And so a lot of women who come into this program with going low carb, they're just like, oh my gosh, first of all, food freedom. I get to have carbohydrates. Second is that their workouts are more, they're stronger in their workouts, so they're able to grow more muscle and they're sleeping better. Like I remember that was the first thing that went with that low carbohydrate
Yeah.
diet, you're sleeping better. And a lot of women, I mean, they want to go low carb and they might see a shift in the scale maybe the first 2 weeks of a low carb diet, but that's not real weight. That's water weight because carbohydrates hold on to water.
Mm.
So it's, we've been lied to. We've been lied to that we need to do this in order to see the results. So that's why we have carb cycling in the program that I coach, because we have low carb days
Yep.
and we have moderate carb days.
Yes.
And the reason we do that is I want to teach your body how to burn fat for fuel. So it's a
Yes.
teaching your body to do that is going to be a game changer for you.
Right.
But we don't want to do that every day of the week because we need these carbohydrates. So we're taking advantage of fat burning that happens on those days, but we bring it back to give us the energy and the diversity that our gut microbiome needs with
Mm.
all of these fruits and vegetables. And it becomes sustainable because you're able to eat like a lot of diversity, you know?
Right. I mean, who wants to do a program if you can't go out to dinner and enjoy time with friends and enjoy, some time out? That is a huge piece of having something that is sustainable, because what happens is that you kind of drift off. We were chatting a little bit before and I said that's what happened to me. So I'll share. I did this program, actually, and this is probably going to be encouraged for some of you watching, because I did the program for the first time on the full all in, except I was traveling in an Airstream. I didn't have weights with me, didn't really have access to a gym. So I didn't do any of the set workouts that you could do. You don't, it's not a requirement, but it's
Mhm.
definitely part of the pieces of the puzzle, right? That can help you move forward faster in your goals. But I didn't do any of that. I just tracked my food using the amazing app that is so easy to use, and watch and did some of the intermittent fasting, and I saw amazing results. So that to me was a power statement right there. So even if you're in a season where you're kind of like, I don't have the space or the bandwidth to work out, you still can have success. And so for me, seeing which pieces of the puzzle you can do versus always feeling like we're a victim. If we
Mhm.
can't do something 100%, then we feel disqualified. And so I just spoke to that from my point of view. But I mean, I think you get the best results when you can do all pieces of it. But for me, that was a game changer the first time that I did the program. And like I said, traveling in an Airstream, that's not the most ideal situation,
Yeah.
friends.
I mean, really, for you to be on the road and not accessing your own kitchen and your routine and to be able to do that, like, speaks volumes
Yeah.
to the ease of it.
It was. It
So,
was very
yes.
easy. We did a lot of, it was great because we would grill like double or triple portions of our meat for dinner. And then, the
Yes.
next day I would just have a huge salad with leftover meat. So I think that there is definitely lots of fun time saving ways that you can eat healthy if that's kind of not your jam and you're kind of not really sure what that looks like. But your carb cycling leads me into this. I feel like this is kind of a popular term now, but I think it's so critical, is this being metabolically flexible,
Yes.
right? I mean, and that word is kind of out there right now. So do you want to speak on that, on how this program really leans into that effectively too?
Yeah, so we are going to teach your body to be metabolically flexible. And what that means is when you are given carbohydrates, when you eat carbohydrates, that's your first fuel source. It's preferred. Your body's going to use carbohydrates for its fuel. But when we do those low carb days and we pair them with certain workouts, your body's going to be forced to use fat as your second preferred fuel source. And then that fat can come from the fat on your body. And so the best thing about that is it's going to teach your body to be a fat burning machine. The second part of that is that you won't have to be snacking all day long. You won't have to like eat something for 2 hours and then, oh, I need some more. My blood sugar is going to crash. It's like I used to carry all these emergency snacks with me, and now I could go like 4 to 5 hours because I know that if I get stuck somewhere, my body's going to dip into my fat sources to, get that energy it needs. Now, you don't want to be doing that all the
Right.
time, but you're going to get more sustained energy. You're not going to get that hangry feeling, the blood sugar rushes or crashes. And so it's an amazing thing. So we really want to teach your body to get away from being like a sugar burner, and that's what
Hmm.
the program does. So I have found that a lot of like women who are doing all the things, like I hear this all the time, like, hey Chris, I'm strength training, I'm eating clean, I'm putting protein on my plate, I get this much protein, I'm still like struggling, I'm stuck, I'm frustrated, I'm still gaining weight. How is your program going to help me? And so that's where this is different. We actually pair our nutrition with our fitness. You didn't even do the fitness part
I know,
until
on that one time, yeah.
right. But if you can do the fitness, the workouts are like 30 minutes. You can do them from your home. And so they're very effective, especially for the busy person. You don't have to have a gym membership, but you can do them at the gym if you want. And we pair it for this synergistic effect. So it's like 1 and 1 equals 5. So a lot of women who are already doing like all the things are actually starting to see results. And I always say this, like, you're putting all this work in to your workouts, getting in the kitchen. Why not find a plan that's actually giving you the results you want? Like, we're pairing it and they're strategic to what we need in midlife to counteract these hormones that have declined. So basically, we're using external strategies to counteract the things that your internal hormones are not normally doing for you anymore. So it's really a brilliant science-backed program.
Right. I was just going to ask you about what about the people that say I'm doing the
Yeah.
things, right? I mean, because I kind of feel like I'm doing the things 80% of the time. However, there's a piece that's missing for me to kind of get over this hump, right? And I have to shift things up. And so that is what I'm excited about, just to be able to like, okay, I'm gonna hop in here again and do it because um, I'm going to share with you guys a photo if you opt in for a message here in a minute. But I did just 2 weeks of the program, and now I'm so, I shouldn't say mad at myself. I'm a little disappointed because I got such great results from
Yeah.
doing it for 2 weeks. I lost 2.5 inches around my waist, and you'll see it in the picture. The scale didn't budge, friends. And I'm going to just tell you, the scale is not your friend. So I don't even want to really weigh myself anywhere. I want pictures and I want measurements because that's truly what my goal is, and that is really, the scale is not necessarily a good measurement of good health or not, right? We want to see muscles. We want less of that fat being carried around. And so I'm excited to share those pictures with you because if I just had stuck with it another 4 weeks, it didn't work in the timetable that I had at that time. So I know the program works. And I know if I'm consistent that I'm going to see even better results on this time around as well. So yeah, I know you said you were shocked that I got those results in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, you shared that with me, and I'm like, holy moly, 2 weeks, like that's crazy. And so you didn't even do the fitness part at that moment, right?
Actually, I was
You were
doing Pilates and I was doing the
the
workouts.
strength training.
So yeah,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
doing my 10,000 steps. So I was doing probably a workout 5 days a week and then making sure I got my 10,000 steps every day too. So yeah, so that is
that's great.
definitely when you put in the time and effort, you can actually see results. So for the woman feeling discouraged listening to this, like, yes, I have tried all the things, whatever. I guess what would be the words that you would say before we kind of dive in and I get to share what the next step is for those people that are kind of like, okay, this sounds too good to be true, Susan. I don't know if you're really pulling my leg. Like, what would you say to the person that maybe is just super discouraged and feels like they've tried everything?
Yeah, I would say that I have heard this a million times in my DMs that they have tried everything. Now, while I cannot like make promises or
Right.
claims because everybody is different, I will say this for the thousands of women that I've coached, it is very, very effective. And I'm a big fan of like, let's get data. So, like, if you go through the program and you're doing all the things and things are not shifting, then that's where I come in as your functional health coach to help guide you and give you a next step. Because maybe you've had years of under eating without even knowing it, and we've slowed down your metabolism. And I could give you tips on how to like, let's get that metabolism revved up so that you can be in a place where your body's ready to release that fat. So it's not, this is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to leave this live and say, okay, I'm just going to eat less.
Right.
I'm just going to work harder in the gym,
Yeah.
because that is not the answer.
Mm-mm.
You know, what this program is going to teach you is strategy. And so it's not going to be working harder. We're just going to work smarter. And that's what I love about this. I get to tell my clients, like, rest more. Let's go to sleep. Let's nourish your body. You hungry? Okay, well, let's try to eat some more food. And so it's not going to be about depriving. And I think that's what we've been kind of taught, like growing up in the, 70s and 80s, and that's the answer, the low fat error, just eat less, um and that's what I would say, is that like what you're doing now is not working, but there is hope and you can have more energy. Most women feel more energy in the first 2 weeks. The bloating has gone down, you're
Yeah.
going to lose that inflammation. And I know we're focused on fat loss, but this is really like a program to get you healthy, and the fat
Right.
loss
I mean,
is just,
I'm all about building the muscle, right? I mean,
yeah,
which I know then will in turn get rid of that excess fat that I have. So, yeah.
yeah. And you know
So,
what?
go
Yeah.
ahead.
So we're going to talk about all of that. And then we also talk about mindset, because I'm a believer in, making progress versus perfection.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really hard to lose the weight and maintain that fat loss if you don't have the right mindset. So this is a full comprehensive program. I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited you're going to be doing it next with us. And
Yes.
so I just want to share that Susan's going to join the group. We have a group starting on Monday. It is for women in their 40s, 50s, 60s. If you're late 30s, you are welcome to join. I also sometimes have a couple 70-year-olds. So I had someone ask that question, what about the 60s?
Yeah.
That's the age range, because that's when your hormones are declining and flatlined. So every strategy is based on what we need to do as midlife women in this stage of life. So it's about your biology. And so you are going to do it, and
I
hopefully we get
am.
some of your people in there.
Yes, yes.
Um,
And one of the things that I wanted to touch on too is that, a couple things. The community aspect, friends, we know this. We do better when we are in community. So
yeah,
if you've been on, the journey to try to do it on my own, that's no
yeah.
fun and you can feel so discouraged. And that was one of the things that I really appreciated about having Chris, is that I remember, I think, maybe the time in May that I started, and I felt like, oh, my macros aren't kind of in the right spot. I'm not really sure what needs to shift. And she took the time. This is what she does. She took the time, went through that after I had, tracked a couple days of food, and she's like, oh yeah, we need to adjust those.
Hmm.
That is what you
Yeah.
want. You want somebody that's going to give you some individual attention like that, because like she said, it's not a one size fits all for everybody. And so if you are trying to do that and you are stuck, that is why having that community. And then the second thing that I wanted to address, and I love this because my friend Edie talks about this. So we women don't want to spend money on ourselves. We want to spend it on our kids or our grandkids, but we never want to prioritize us. And I'm just going to tell you right now, that stops now, because you want to be here and you want to be in the best shape and to be able to get down and play with your grandkids. At least that's me. Or go and do activities with your own kids, right? If you're in your 40s, you still got kids at home. Even though I'm at 58 almost, I have a 15-year-old that's still at home, but we will pay all of the things for our kids to do, all the sports and all the things. It is time for you to set a little bit aside for you to take care of you so that you can be better for your
Oh,
family. It will
um,
pay dividends, friends. I'm telling you. And
I,
you see
I,
this all the time, I'm
I
sure.
I love it. You know what? My mom is doing all the things. She's 86, and that is the best gift that she's given me is the gift that she's independent at 86. And so I'm not, I mean, I'm going over there and helping her with things, but it could be where I'm having to take care of her 100%, and that's very stressful to be a
Yes.
caretaker. And so I'm so thankful for her and her investment in her own health as her child, because my dad was not that way, and it was so stressful for me and my mom to, he's now passed, but to take care. And so I agree with that. I mean, your family's going to benefit
Yeah.
tenfold when you take care of yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so good. So, okay, so tell us a little bit more, Chris, and then if you want to get a little more information and join me, I am starting and doing this. Actually, I'm doing a soft start until we
Yep.
actually officially start on the 3rd, but I'm going to be right in there with you. You can join the same group that I'm going to be in with Chris, but you can comment midlife and you'll get the information. There's a little discount code that's still available for a couple days, I think. So yeah, so why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, so this is a nutrition and fitness program, but it covers the mindset, the sleep, all the foundations that we need to be healthy. And you get to set your goals, whether your goal is fat loss, more energy, you want to build muscle. Everyone's like, I want all three, and you can have all three. You get to set your goals. If you don't have fat loss and you just want to get healthier and stronger, this is for you. If you are in midlife, this is for you. If you struggled with like yo-yo dieting, I actually have an emotional eating coach on my team to help you through those things as well. And if you want community, like so many women are like isolated. They don't have a community of women that want to better themselves and be healthier and
Right.
stronger. And the community that's created is amazing, amazing, because we're all in the same stage of life. We're dealing with
Right.
the same things. And so we start on 1 week from today. And the good news is right now there's a $50 off code, and it is a hard stop tomorrow. It will expire at midnight Eastern Standard Time, and you get $50 off. So if you're in, go ahead and sign up, because again, you could start with Susan with your soft start. You get immediate access to the app. There's 30-minute workouts. You're going to get a customized nutrition plan. So based on your goals, I will tell you, okay, here's how much protein, carbs, and fat you'll need to consume. And it's really, I always tell people, like, think of this like a class versus a program. You're going to think of this as like,
Right.
I'm going to learn how to exercise optimally in this stage of life. I'm going to learn how to fuel my body so I have energy and I thrive, and I'm going to like age well and look well. You're going to feel and look better and feel your best. And this is a perfect time too, because you have your trip coming and spring is coming. And I know,
Yes.
you know, it, sometimes I'm like, is this too vain? Like working on the way that I look? And I don't think so, because it shows up in your confidence. And like,
Yes.
what are things that you are going to accomplish
Right.
because you have this confidence or even energy? I have a client, and she just sent me her book that she wrote. And she's like, I never would have been able to finish this book if I didn't have the energy and the stamina to focus on it, because I didn't have my health. So think
Right.
about what your health is going to give you. What is it going to give you? Time and energy to spend with your family and friends. You want to go to Italy and you want to walk 10 miles. There's a lot of walking going on,
Right?
like
Okay,
on
well,
these
okay,
trips.
so let's stop there because, okay, first off, I want to say if you've commented midlife and you didn't get anything, comment again because my little robot wasn't working yet. So I wanted to say that. But tell us what you did.
Oh,
Was it in the summer? This
yeah.
because I'm like, this is it. And this is what you can have goals to do. So I would love for you to share what you did.
Okay, so I would never have been able to do this hadn't I been as healthy as I am and strong, and because of this program. Um, I hiked the Camino. There's this pilgrimage walk in Spain, and there's several routes. I did the last 100K, and basically we walked like 10 to 15-ish miles a day for 6 days. And it was my bucket list item. And I want to go back. I want to finish. I only did like the last part of the trail, but I was just thinking like this is awesome that I could do this at 50. I'm 55. And awesome that I could do this at this age and experience this. Like, I know there are women out there that couldn't do it. I had to train for it. So I couldn't just get up and do it. I had to train for it. But I felt so good the whole time. And I was proud of myself that at age 55 to still be accomplishing things that I never did before in my
Right.
life. You know, we can still get stronger. And believe it or not, this Susan, I am the strongest I've ever been in my life.
Oh, I believe
And
it.
that
Yeah, I believe it.
and I've been a group fitness instructor since 1997. So it's just fun to know that your life does not end
Mm-hmm.
at 50. And if you're 40, all the things that you're going to learn at that age is only going to serve you well as you navigate through this menopausal stage. You're going to be way ahead of the game. And 55 is young. Thank you. My mom always says that. She's like, "You're so young." I'm like, I love talking to her.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just like if you don't have your health, then what
Mm-hmm.
do you have? Like
Right.
it's like that's my passion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my women are going to lose belly fat. Yes, my women are going to, but like if you don't have your health to live out your passion and purpose in life, you don't have the energy, then you know you're just living. You're not growing. You're not
Mm-hmm.
thriving, and that's really that's what I want for women.
Yeah, I feel like I have had an amazing life until this point, but I feel like I'm just entering into this new
Yes,
season where it's going to be even better than I ever imagined,
I
and I want that for other people. So yeah, so I hope some of you all here watching, some of my friends will join me and we can keep each other company during it's 6 weeks for the first round. So I want you to commit 6 weeks to yourself because you're worth it. And you will never know what happens when you are diligent and consistent for that 6 weeks. And I'm going to tell you, you will be
Mm,
so proud of yourself. Even when you have days that don't go the way that they should or would or whatever you want to say, because those will
they will.
happen. But it's progress, it's not perfection. So if you're somebody watching and you use my planner, you know I say that all the time. It's progress, it's not perfection. You don't have to check off every single thing every day. It's forward movement. And that's what we really want to help you gain in this program, because you won't learn these concepts and understand how your body's truly made to work in this season of life until you invest a little bit and learn a little bit. So thank you, Chris. Anything you want to say as we leave these lovely people that have been watching?
I'm just excited for you and your crew to join. And I know we have a lot of people comment in midlife. If for some reason you did not get any information, I know Susan, you're going to post this on your feed,
Yes.
and so you can post it on there as well, and you'll get all the information
Yes.
about the program. Just as a big side note, the program is called The Faster Way to Fat Loss. I am a coach for the program, and I specialize in midlife women. So everything is customized even further, and you're going to get all my functional nutrition stuff. It's just an amazing group of women. So love to see you there. And we start on Monday, and let's do it. Let's do
Right.
it. See,
No better time than now. Yes, you will have a body that you will be excited to go buy a swimsuit, friends. I'm telling you. We always dread that, right? But not this year. You are going to be coming at the end of April or the beginning of April and be like, "I'm so excited to go get me a new swimsuit." So, anyway,
yay.
thanks so much, Chris. I love chatting with you. You are just so full of such great information that isn't in my specialty. So I love when we can team up and collaborate. So this is awesome. So, all right,
Absolutely.
everybody, I'm going to see many of you in a week and I can't wait.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you, Susan. Bye, everyone.